the Minister for Employment, Productivity and Workplace Relations, Honorable Agni Dev Singh, the Permanent Secretary for Education, Ms. Selina Kuruleda, the President of the Fiji Principal Association, Mr. Biman Prasad. I see General Secretaries Muniappa Gaundel and General Secretary Paula Manumanu Taga from FTA, senior Ministry of Education officials from the headquarters and from this division, friends, members of the association, invited guests, the chairman of the Pacific Polytech, Dr. Ganesh Chand, Bula Vinaka, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum. Congratulations on your 130th conference. This is a monumental achievement. And I know this also marks the Diamond Jubilee, 60 years of the establishment of the Fiji Principals Association. So once again, warmest congratulations to all of you. As I wish you great success, I also take this opportunity to thank the principals, you members who have touched so profoundly and so powerfully, and in fact have shaped my own life. And I am forever grateful to my principals, Mr. Sitareki Delana, the late Mr. Valekuta Mateni, and at the then Draketi Junior Secondary School, and Mr. Amraya Naidu at Labasa College. So in a very heartfelt way, I extend my deepest thanks to these fantastic principals and even greater human beings. And I'm deeply appreciative of their guidance, mentoring, and the humanity which I have remembered and reflected on throughout my life. And most importantly, at those times when things looked challenging. I know countless other Fijians here and across the world remember their own principles long after they have left school. As a community of principals, you have an outsized and extraordinary impact on who we become, on how our values are framed, and how we overcome challenges in our lives. This is extraordinary in so many deep and profound ways. And I want to say, Vig Vinaka Vakalim. And I am humbled and deeply privileged to have been requested. And I was very pleased that this conference was being held in Labasa. And I couldn't say no. So on behalf of students across the country today and in the past, I offer our thanks, our deepest appreciation to the family of principals of Fiji, past and present, who have offered so much to prepare us for work, for life, and for service. The demands for leadership are ever changing. School leaders need to be innovative, dynamic, and visionary. Parents can send children to school full of promise, but they need principals as school leaders to co-sign their vision. The role of the principal is no longer an overseer of teachers, students and buildings, but leadership that lifts teachers and students to become great human beings first. To be excited by opportunities that a school environment provides to push themselves in sports, in applying language to create songs and music, in applying their numeracy skills to solve problems in the real world, on their farms, at their homes, and in their lives. The world will not stop for Fiji to catch up. We need to keep pace. We need to catch up when we are behind. The world will not solve our problems. We need to do that. And the family of principles, in my view, are at the forefront of that. You interpret our fast-changing environment, and your theme makes sense. And when you interpret our fast-changing environment, you understand what they mean for learning and for education. You understand and translate that new world into actions and interventions that prepare students for life, as it has done for me. We are entering in a period where, for the first time in our history, students will have more information, better information, sometimes bad information as well, and are likely to be more knowledgeable than their teachers because of the way they will have adapted to the digital era and to the world of artificial intelligence. And this is hugely exciting. To some, it will be and could be challenging as well. So as principals, you will already have observed that students are digitally fast-checking their teachers all the time. Many people do that. Students can do that as well. And this is good, but as leaders you know that the intuitive skills needed to evaluate and make sense between different digital stories need to be nurtured and developed in very sophisticated ways. The choice between right and wrong has become infinitely more difficult for our students in this new world. And I know that as a community you are engaged with this. We will support you in the transitions that are needed to make learning, teaching, and education in sync with this rapidly altered digital world in which we now find ourselves. How we deliver education in an absolute or is an absolute top priority for the coalition government. And that is why, and in line with the government's consultative approach, dialogue-based approach to policy making and to governance, the Ministry of Education, and I'm sure the PS talked about it, organized a multi-stakeholder education summit in November last year to discuss the challenges facing the education sector and collectively agree on reforms and strengthen the sector. The outcome of this summit, the Denarau Declaration, or 2023 Denarau Declaration, which lays out a vision to create a robust educational system which is based on the principles of inclusivity, ensuring that every learner, irrespective of background, abilities or circumstances, has access to quality education. The coalition government launched a new National Development Plan 2025-2029 and Vision 2050 last week. We had a very robust discussion last night at the University of the South Pacific, and I was very pleased with the overwhelming support, of course with caution, for the plan. And as a plan for our people, the new National Development Plan has a bold vision. empowering the people of Fiji through unity. This vision is translated in 3 pillars: economic resilience, people empowerment, and good governance. And one of the main focus of the NDP is enhancing the quality of education at all levels to meet the requirements of the ever-changing labor market. The NDP contains 7 policies and 53 strategies for the education sector for the next 5 years, PS, to ensure we deliver quality education at all levels. And I must say that the implementation and the indicators and the KPIs and our ability to achieve them would depend on decisive, effective, committed leadership at all levels of government as well as within the Ministry of Education. Far-reaching educational reforms are needed. For example, at what age should coding become compulsory? In year 1 or in year 6? When will we move to a fully digitalized exam system? Next year or in 3 years? How will we deploy AI into the teaching environment? What does net zero school look like? How do we best promote tolerance, respect, and equality? We look for answers and inputs. And we cannot pretend that as a government, we will always have the best answers. Governments, in many areas, more often than not, don't have the best answers. And that is why, as one of the key strategies of the government in developing policies, is the involvement of those outside of government. The rapidly changing needs of society require that the education system is agile, innovative, and self-correcting. Clunky approaches of the past will not serve us well in the future. And I always say this, as a somewhat lapsed university professor, I'm deeply aware that many of the jobs for which we are training students today at our own universities may cease to exist within a decade or 2. They will be replaced by AI. The large language models, the LLM, and the things that come out of that is going to change the world in a profound way. In some areas, jobs will be replaced by AI even by the time the current students will graduate. And it is indeed possible that some of the subjects that we teach today will become redundant in the way they are framed today. And therefore, principals, we need you at the cutting edge of these developments and ideas to help shape our education system for this new world. We will catch up. Indeed, it is our aspiration that we can leapfrog. Countries which adopt technology, which are agile, which are innovative, can leapfrog countries that actually create these technologies. And this is our commitment as a government. To not do so will mean that we will fail a whole generation of students in our country. And this would be, if I can say that, this would be criminal. Future generations will not forgive us if we do not rise to the challenge. The government can create many good ideas and plans. Sometimes they remain ideas and plans. But what is critical in achieving the outcomes that we all want? Transferring that vision and producing change at the school level that is needed to achieve better outcomes will remain elusive if we do not have committed, effective leadership at all levels. And we need your leadership to drive the change that is needed to ensure that the reforms and innovations are implemented. Real change, and I've always believed this, real change is led in schools and classrooms by teachers and school leaders. And I can say this, I still remember what my class 4 teacher said to me about politics, about leaders. And we cannot bring about a change for the better if school principals and teachers are unable to bring the reforms into their schools and classrooms. That's where the real thing happens, in schools and in classrooms. And I must say that as principals, this is an extraordinary time to be leaders. So consider yourselves as extraordinary people. People who can drive change. And so much change. So much excitement about so many new opportunities. And therefore you are so critical to how Fiji will meet and respond to the challenges of a changed world. Digital education offers opportunity to think afresh about leaving no child behind. Wherever they are, how we reshape traditional subjects and how we reshape how learning occurs will prepare students to be agile for a new world of possibilities that we could not imagine 2 decades ago. Your role as principals and school leaders is not only about the academic success of your students. Schools play a powerful role in building the citizenship that we need. Students look to you to help them make responsible, safe, and informed decisions. They look to you to appreciate that all human beings are equal. They look to you to understand that girls and women enjoy the same equal rights as men and boys in everything. You can make them appreciate that violence against women and children is not acceptable. They look to you to help understand what is true and what is fake in a world of many competing truths. They look to you to understand what needs to be done to build climate resilient schools and communities. They look to you to learn in ways that are future proof, not become redundant as soon as they leave school. So, even though the world is changing so rapidly and at times unpredictably, you principals shine a light on the world at difficult times and at complex times. You shine a light on their lives, as many have done for the last 60 years of your existence, and I should say consistently, nobly, respectfully, and with so much dignity and care. The government is working very closely with all our stakeholders. Sometimes the teacher unions may not like us, but I want to assure everyone in the teaching fraternity, our stakeholders, that the government is deeply committed to not only reforming the education system, but also righting the wrong that was there for so many years. And we can't fix it overnight. We have started by ensuring that we look at the salaries of our teachers, our civil servants. We moved away from contractual employment. We wanted to give more permanency, security of jobs for our people, our leaders in the school system, and teachers generally, and we've done that. The review of the public service, the issues within the Ministry of Education, in terms of salaries, step movements, job evaluation, these things can't be fixed overnight. There is a review process, and I know that the unions are involved in it, and we are confident that we would be able to deal with this in a patient and in a determined way. I was saying to the Permanent Secretary, the government is looking at many other issues within the teaching profession, issues such as our retirement age that we increased from 55 to 60, and there's more work to be done in that area. I also said to the Permanent Secretary that I'm thinking of including in the next budget grants to professional bodies such as the Principals Association and the Head Teachers Association. So that professional bodies can become more effective, more agile, and I'll urge the Principals Association to constantly, on a regular basis, apart from your annual conferences, to organize seminars, organize forums, because sharing of ideas and bringing people together regularly will help us shape our education system, our needs of the leadership in the school in an effective way. I've been touched and deeply honored that you have shared this moment with me today. And in fact, you've given me a platform. I always wanted to do that. You've given me a platform to thank you all for what you do for the schools and for our students, and for our communities, and for our country. And I want to say that with much respect and humility, I offer my big Vinaka Vakalevu, Dhanyawad, and Shukriya to all of you. Thank you.